Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now the Social Security Administration and the IRS have finally given us some news about your third stimulus check and when you should expect to receive one. Now folks, many of you guys are supposed to receive a stimulus payment today. And if you did, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Now folks, leave me a comment down below telling me if you got your third stimulus check from the IRS. And if you did, then congratulations. It's great to see that at least some of you guys have received a stimulus payment. But the overall goal of this channel is to give you guys the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. I want to see every member of my community receive a $1,400 stimulus payment as soon as possible. I believe that the IRS and the Social Security Administration are kind of taking way too long to send out those payments. It's not that difficult, especially since many of you guys have direct deposit information on file with the IRS. I just hope our politicians in Congress can somehow speed up the process and step up their game to send out those payments quicker and easier. Now many people who receive Social Security payments and most SSI, SSDI, VA recipients, and railroad retirement workers will qualify to receive a stimulus check. But if you did use a non-FLS tool in 2020 and didn't have a change in life circumstances, you may receive a check automatically as part of the second stimulus payment batch. That's great news folks, because now the Social Security Administration is sending out those third stimulus checks faster. You could also get a larger check this time around, especially if you claim dependents. Stimulus checks can once again be seized from private debt collectors, but not from past due child support. And I want you guys to know that. The government says it will conduct an outreach program letting taxpayers know if they're eligible for any funds and offering help if needed. Now the IRS did say on March 22nd that a payment date for those who receive Social Security and other federal benefits will be announced as soon as information becomes available. But the good news folks is that House Democrats are demanding immediate answers from the IRS and the Social Security Administration and the SSA as to why it's taking so long to receive a stimulus check for those of you that are on Social Security, SSI, and VA. In fact, the House Democrat tweeted out, "This money needs to go out now." Now guys, it's great to see that some politicians in Congress are stepping up for you guys. They're standing up for the good American people. But we all know what matters the most. It's the action. We have got to see more action from the IRS and the SSA. But everybody, here's how your third stimulus checks will arrive. The IRS said it is adjusting how it will make payments to those who receive some federal benefits as it processes the third stimulus payments. Most SSI and SSDI recipients didn't receive their first payments via Direct Express card, though it is usually the way the government distributes federal benefits. Instead, the payment arrived through a non-Direct Express bank account or as a paper check, if you did not have your bank account information on file with the IRS.
Group most in need who may struggle to get it, the homeless. So advocates around the country are working to make sure those living on the streets or in their cars have access to this much needed relief. Here's ABC's Mary Alice Parks.
Trisha Lee says she has not had any luck so far collecting one of those stimulus checks offered from the federal government during the pandemic, although she and her son are facing incredibly hard times. For the past year, she's lived on and off the streets in downtown Chicago after she lost her job and her apartment. She says she tried to sign up online for the payment, but with libraries closed, figuring out the right forms felt impossible.
It's very hard when your cell phone, you don't have your minutes on it or whatever, you don't have Wi-Fi, you can't call them, you can't contact them.
Still, after all the effort, another roadblock.
I found out I was approved. They emailed me back and said you were approved. And then because I didn't have an address, they couldn't mail anything to me. No address, no money.
If you're still waiting for your stimulus check, you might need to check your mailbox instead of your bank account. Yesterday was the last day the Treasury Department was doing direct deposits. The IRS has sent 127 million paper checks so far. You can check the status of your payment online.
Anyway, the casual dining sector was struggling before the pandemic hit, but as vaccines and stimulus roll out, things are shifting. Kate Rogers has more. Kate, good morning.
Hey Becky, good morning. Casual dining does seem to be getting a boost on the notion of pent-up consumer demand and some extra spending money in recent weeks. Now, Kalinowski Equity Research is projecting overall same-store sales in this space to be down 1.2% in Q1 this year. That compares to a drop of 13.1% the same quarter last year. In March, so far, same-store sales are up 45% across the space. The firm is citing several factors, including COVID cases declining, vaccines, and springtime weather. together, something that BTIG is also echoing at certain restaurants like Texas Roadhouse and Darden. We just heard from Darden yesterday. That's the parent of Olive Garden and Longhorn Steakhouse, out with a better than expected report across the board, sales above 2019 levels so far in March at some of its locations. It also announced it would spend $17 million on one-time bonuses and pay raises for workers, getting to $12 an hour, including tips, by 2023. Investors also seem to be confident as well. Take a look at some of these stocks. Some of the best performers year to date are not the QSRs and the pizza names of 2020. It's all casual dining. Darden, Brinker, Texas Roadhouse, Dine Brands, and Bloomin' Brands, all some of the biggest gainers year to date. And their one-year moves are even more impressive, all up more than 100%, Brinker up more than 300%. Analysts at Stephens have said we could be in a new golden age for casual dining, which is not something, Becky, you would expect to have heard this time last year. Back over to you.
No, I know. It's been crazy watching some of these stocks up even more than they were before the pandemic hit. And I guess you have to wonder, how much does digital come into this?
I think a lot of these players have really wisely leaned into digital even more, as we've seen across the restaurant space with mobile order and pay. A lot of them are on third-party delivery apps or have apps of their own, as well as curbside. Darden said about 19% of its Q3 sales were digital. And another interesting thing, Chili's, which is owned by Brinker, rolled out Just Wings. It's Just Wings. It's a digital ghost kitchen company. And that helped to boost Chili's sales in January. So digital is going to become increasingly important in the casual space, I think, in the months and years to come.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.
More stimulus money being sent to millions of Americans today, but some people are having problems getting those funds. Consumer investigator Steve Sprasia digging deeper to tell you what may be holding up your payment and the timeline for sending out all that cash. Steve.
Angela, there are a couple of issues at play here, including the fact that payments could be delayed by either the IRS or the U.S. Postal Service. The Treasury is issuing 37 million payments today, 20 million of them by direct deposit, 17 million more via the U.S. Postal Service. If you don't get your payment by direct deposit today, then it's coming in the mail. Those items being sent through the mail could either be government debit cards or paper checks. And because the U.S. mail system continues to experience delays, those payments could take time to get to you. The best way to track them is to use the U.S. Postal Service's Informed Delivery. It'll track it right to your mailbox. I've included a link in my web story to help you sign up for that. Now, one group that is yet to see any payments right now are Social Security, SSI, and VA beneficiaries. The House Ways and Means Committee has sent an angry letter to the IRS and Social Security Administration saying it's alarmed and demanding those agencies get those stimulus payments issued, especially after the IRS could offer no timeline for payments. So far, the agencies have yet to say when it'll be fixed, only saying it'll be fixed soon. But they aren't the only ones affected. Thousands of people are seeing fractured or partial payments. They've even formed this Facebook group to share their experiences and complaints. The IRS says some of those delays are due to